Once, in the heart of a remote, fog-shrouded forest, there stood a dilapidated mansion known as Blackwood Manor. For years, its decaying facade had been the subject of whispers and legends in the nearby village. Most people dared not venture close, claiming the house was cursed. But there were always those who couldn't resist the allure of the unknown. A young historian named Eleanor, with a penchant for uncovering hidden secrets, arrived in the village one crisp autumn morning. She had heard the tales of Blackwood Manor and was determined to unravel the mysteries that shrouded the mansion. With her research equipment and a steely resolve, she made her way to the foreboding estate. Eleanor found the mansion to be even more ominous up close. The once grand structure was now a shadow of its former self, with broken windows, crumbling walls, and overgrown ivy that seemed to strangle the very life from it. She could feel the weight of the past as she crossed the threshold. The moment she entered, the air grew thick and cold, and the ominous creaking of floorboards echoed throughout the empty halls. Eleanor lit her lantern and began to explore the mansion. The wallpaper peeled away, revealing faded paintings of a bygone era. Dust-covered furniture stood as if frozen in time. But it was the portraits lining the corridor that sent shivers down her spine. They depicted stern-faced individuals, their eyes following her every move. As the day waned and the darkness outside deepened, Eleanor's lantern flickered. Panic gripped her as she realized she was lost in the labyrinthine passages of Blackwood Manor. No matter which direction she turned, she found herself back in the same hallway. The house seemed determined to keep her within its grasp. From the shadows emerged an eerie whisper that sent shivers down her spine. "You should have stayed away," it hissed, as if the very walls were taunting her. But Eleanor pressed on, her determination unwavering. The whisper grew into chilling laughter as she stumbled into a hidden chamber. It was a room filled with dusty tomes and ancient manuscripts. Eleanor realized she had discovered the long-lost library of Blackwood Manor. Here, she believed, were the answers she had sought. She began to read the faded writings, piecing together a dark history of the house. Blackwood Manor had once been home to a powerful sorcerer who conducted sinister rituals to gain immortality. As Eleanor read, the atmosphere in the room grew even colder, and the walls seemed to close in on her. Suddenly, the room was plunged into complete darkness. Eleanor's lantern had gone out, and she was trapped in a void of blackness. In the pitch black, she could feel a presence lurking nearby, something malevolent and ancient. A ghostly figure materialized before her, its hollow eyes staring into her soul. It was the tormented spirit of the sorcerer, trapped in a never-ending cycle of death and rebirth. The spirit's bony fingers reached out for her, and Eleanor could feel an icy grip around her heart. As terror consumed her, Eleanor managed to utter a few words from a forgotten incantation she had read in the library. The ghostly figure let out a blood-curdling scream and dissolved into mist, leaving behind an eerie silence. Eleanor fled the cursed mansion, forever haunted by the horrors she had witnessed. Blackwood Manor remained abandoned, a place of darkness and death, a grim reminder of the consequences of tampering with the forces of the unknown. And so, the legend of Blackwood Manor continued to haunt the villagers, a place where the past and present were forever entwined, and the spirits of the long dead would never rest. Eleanor emerged from Blackwood Manor, shaken but alive. The darkness that had enveloped her in the mansion lifted as she crossed its threshold. She had managed to escape the grasp of the malevolent spirit, but she couldn't help but wonder if the curse of Blackwood Manor had truly been broken. As she stepped into the moonlight, a figure appeared at the edge of the forest. It was a mysterious man with piercing eyes and an air of calm determination. He had been following her, drawn to the haunting legend of Blackwood Manor just as she had been. He introduced himself as Victor, a paranormal investigator who had heard of the mansion's dark history. Victor had been studying the supernatural for years and had encountered many malevolent entities. He had sensed the overwhelming energy emanating from the mansion and decided to investigate. When he saw Eleanor emerge, he couldn't ignore the danger she had been in. It was as if the spirits of the house had released her to the world outside. Seeing the relief in Eleanor's eyes, Victor offered to accompany her back to the village. It was a long and eerie journey through the fog-shrouded forest, but their combined determination and shared experience made it more bearable. Victor's presence provided Eleanor with a newfound sense of security. As they walked, Eleanor shared the secrets she had uncovered in the library of Blackwood Manor. Victor listened intently, his knowledge of the supernatural helping him piece together the events of the past. He explained that the sorcerer's spirit, trapped in an endless cycle of death and rebirth, had been feeding off the fear and curiosity of those who dared to enter the mansion. Together, Eleanor and Victor devised a plan to break the curse that had plagued Blackwood Manor for centuries. They would need to return to the mansion and confront the malevolent spirit once and for all. Armed with ancient incantations and protective charms, they embarked on their mission, facing their deepest fears and the darkest of horrors. Their journey was fraught with peril as the spirits of Blackwood Manor fought desperately to maintain their hold. But Eleanor and Victor's determination and newfound bond gave them the strength to press on. The sorcerer's spirit, in a final act of desperation, manifested before them. Eleanor recited the incantation she had learned, and Victor held the protective charms aloft. The air around them crackled with energy as a blinding light engulfed the malevolent spirit. It let out a piercing scream and disintegrated into a burst of smoke and sparks. The curse was broken. The mansion, once a place of torment, began to crumble and decay even more rapidly, as if it had lost its grip on this world. With the curse lifted, Blackwood Manor could finally rest in peace. Eleanor and Victor, their mission accomplished, emerged from the mansion victorious. The once ominous forest now felt serene, and the village could finally breathe a sigh of relief, knowing that the nightmare of Blackwood Manor was no more. Eleanor and Victor's shared experience brought them even closer, and they continued to investigate supernatural mysteries together, their bond growing stronger with each case they tackled. The horrors of Blackwood Manor would forever be etched in their memories, a testament to the power of determination, courage, and the strength that comes from confronting one's deepest fears.